All right, folks, welcome. I'd like to say welcome to the Deep Mind podcast. Of course, today is the 25th day of April, and the year remains the same, 2026. We are gradually getting to the middle of the year, which is a good thing. I mean, it shows that we are doing well. The fact that we are still alive is a good thing. And yeah, so I would like to welcome you all. I'd like to say welcome to the Deep Mind podcast. If you are watching us by way of YouTube, I'd like to say welcome. Obviously, this is the Deep Mind podcast, so I will encourage you to please uh, share the show, subscribe to our channel as we are brand new. If you are watching us by way of Facebook, I also like to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for your feedback. Please share the Facebook page, Nush Saki, or the Deep Mind podcast page. You can look it up. Share that with friends. Like it, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can receive updates on our interaction, our videos, and whatever we do. So yeah, I want to say welcome everyone. Um, is good that you are joining us today. I hope we are on Facebook as well. Now, many of you will recall a few days ago, I dropped a video recording, message, and my reaction to the expulsion of the Honorable Yeke Koluba of District Number 10 in Maserati County, Liberia, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. And in my reaction, I expressed my disappointment in the former, if I can say, former honorable man by title his conduct and actions. I got some feedback from that for those who watch it. I also expressed my uh, admiration for him in sense of his willingness to speak, even though he speaks on the wrong issues. But just the boldness that he have to speak his mind, with his understanding that he's advocating for the people. And so tonight I want to speak to you particularly. I'm just stand by 1 second. Let me see. I'm not too sure whether we on Facebook, because on my screen, from what I can see here, I'm not too sure whether our Facebook is connected. I know we on YouTube because I've looked it up. Let me see other accounts, but I can't see us on Facebook. So I'm just let just stand by with me 1 second while I just so I'm sure that um yes. So I don't think our live stream currently is on Facebook because oh no, yeah, it's not on Facebook. But yeah, so we're going to work on that. We're definitely going to work on that. So I'll end this recording, and then I have to make some adjustment because I think um, I'm just going to edit and see. Okay, so I think I made some adjustment, and I think we should be on Facebook now. Hopefully. Um, yes, I think we are on Facebook now. That's good. All right. All right, beautiful. All right, so I think yeah, that's going well. Right. All right. So welcome for those of you who just joining us from Facebook. Of course, we want to thank you for following our page. It is a brand new page. It's a brand new idea, as many of you um, are aware. And so I want to encourage you to please like the page. Is the Facebook page name, the Facebook account name is Nush Saki. The page is called the Deep Man Podcast. And also, for those of you who haven't liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is Creator One, it's also called the Deep Man Podcast. And we are now streaming live simultaneously. All right. So today is Saturday, another great day in the beautiful country of Australia, and precisely in the beautiful city of Newcastle. I'd like to say welcome to every one of you, and it's good to have you all watching us tonight. Now, many of you through Facebook or YouTube who has followed my page over the last few couple of weeks would have seen my reaction to the expulsion of the honorable man, or should I say former honorable man, Yeke Koriba of District Number 10, Maserati County. And in that video, I expressed my frustration on the honorable man conduct and how he represented the people of District Number 10. But I also acknowledge and admire his courage, his voice, the ability that he had to galvanize people around him. I acknowledge that. But I equally supported the expulsion because of the reason that I cited in that video. And so I have some reaction from some people, which is a good thing to see. And so tonight I want to focus my attention, and I must say to my friends who will be watching who are not from Liberia, but you might get some interest in African politics and African governance. That's good. But if you don't have interest, I'm sorry, but I'm putting out my heart here tonight to our governing system in Liberia, particularly where I'm from, that I believe is contributing to the practices that we see in our country. It's contributing to the poverty rate, self destruction. It's contributing to the economic problem we find ourselves. These actions of these people that we have asked to lead us. And that's why tonight I'm going to focus my attention not just on one individual who was a part of them, but I want to speak to the heart of these 73 chosen men and women who were elected by their people because everyone cannot go to that house. So we set up a system that allows certain group of people or good number of people to have their voices heard at the table of the discussion and division of national wealth. We set this system so that one person from that particular district or that particular location of maybe 10,000 people can choose one person to represent them at that table of national discussion and national division of wealth. But yet, these people, in my opinion, are the reason why our country continuing to be underdeveloped, that our country continue to experience high level of poverty. People are struggling to make ends meet because of the decisions and the actions of these people. And that is why tonight I will pour all my heart to these 73 men and women we call our representatives. In fact, for those of you who don't know, Liberia has a system of government where we have three systems of government, branches of government, I should say. The legislative branch, which is part of what I'm going to discuss tonight. We have the judiciary branch and the executive branch. Today, the executive branch is headed by the president. That's something we're going to talk about later on. The judiciary branch is headed by the Supreme Court and the judges. We're going to talk about that somehow. And the House of Representatives and Senator, which we refer to as the legislative branch of government, is headed by the Speaker of the House, the Senate pro tempore, who is the first in command of those two houses. But yet, they are 73 men and women who we call our direct representation on population to the House, and we have 30 men and women who are our equal representation as per the county. So for those who don't know why we have two senators and great number of representatives is because the senator's position of two is divided on an even basis based upon county. So we have 15 counties. That's why you have 30 senators, two each. But in the House of Representatives, they are not equally distributed because they are based on population count. So you will find out in some counties, you have more representation because of their population than other counties. In particularly in Maserati County, you have more representation, more representatives because you have more population in Maserati County, which divide them into districts for which these people represent. These 73 chosen men and women from all walks of life, some of them who ascended into that position without any formal governmental skill, without any formal leadership skill. Some of them, why there were some who ascended into that position who came from some managerial skills oriented organization. Some of them came from some legal background. Some of them had experience in running an organization and all the kind of things. They are a mixture of people that are there to represent the interests of the people. Those are the people that I'm speaking to tonight. Honorable representatives, I want to plead with you as I lay down why I believe that you people are the cause of, if not all of our problem, but majority of our social ills in our community, in our country, is caused by you people. And here is why I say this. Let me lay out why I cry to you this night from my end. It's nighttime here. To please have a change of mind. You see, we claim that we are a country built on Christian principles, but yet we exhibit behavior and character as though if we were not formed on Christian principles, then I wonder what would have become of us. I mean, think about this. These 73 men and women sit in a position of authority An authority so big and huge, a responsibility that is given to them, that by their decision, the country perish or flourish. That's the power of these people. And clearly, we can see that the decision is causing us to perish. Then we are flourishing. How? Let me set an example. Let me drink some water. Because I'm going to pour out my heart to these people. And I hope some of them can stumble across this video some days and know that what I am saying to them, I'm speaking to the heart of these men and women. I mean, think, for example, you are giving the authority to sit over the country national wealth. You are giving a position that you sit at the table where the national resources of the country is divided. That's where you sit. Meaning that you have the power to allocate resources of the country into area that will directly improve the lives of your people because you are representing them. That's the power you hold or occupy. That is the power you got. But what do? When you sit at that table to divide the national wealth of our country, you forget to know that you are representing 10,000, 25,000 Liberians. You forget that. How do I know you forget this? Because when you make allocation in the budget, you are allocating more money for yourselves. Meaning you put yourself first in the allocation of the country wealth, which is wrong. But yet you do that, but you claim that you are working in the interest of the people. Why do you think it is morally right? It is ethically correct. It is the best thing that you can do, that 73 of you will enjoy, even the 103 of you, including the senator, should enjoy massively from the wealth of the country, and why the 5 point something million others struggle. How? Because of the decisions you take. So let's go to the sharing of the budget. You allocate for yourself money for transportation, gasoline, fuel, this one, the other one, generator, everything you want to survive on, you allocate money for yourself in the budget for the poor people to look after you. And you call it is my just benefit. But you made it just by allocating those money in the budget, which when it passed into law, which you will pass into law, it becomes legal. It is morally wrong. Please stop it. Yes. That system is continuously putting our country in severe poverty. The system you practice is wrong. Why do you need to allocate $25,000, $10,000 to yourselves, and you call a district development money? Why? You know the reason why, and I now know the reason why. And that reason is wrong. For those who don't know the reason, I'll share it with you. Do you know why these people allocate this money in the budget so that they can be able to use it? It is because they want to continue the system that they have practiced that brought them into power by reducing their people to begging. And how do they do this? Because when you circumvent the public system, you enrich yourself with public funds, the people beg you for survival because they look up to you now as an individual for survival rather than looking up to a system that should be fully funded by their resources. So, why do you do this? Is that right? Of course, it's not. So, why can we stop? Now, think about this for a second. Instead of you, if you truly love your people, the 10,000 people you represent, if you truly have those people at heart, you know what you would do? Instead of you allocating money for district development fund, which you have personal control over, and you do small intervention in your community to use that narrative to campaign for next election, you would take all of that money and put it into a government system that runs for everyone to enjoy. How it works. I'll give you an example. Imagine for a second that all of you who have allocated money for hospital for generator, fuel, X, Y, and Z, and you allocate $20,000, for example, each of you to county or what you call um, district development fund. You take all that money and put it into the government hospital system. You fund the government initiative to expand the hospital capacity, to provide adequate care to people who goes there by having enough beds when people go that they are not short on bed. You have trained doctors and nurses and every other facility. You spend money to buy the modern technology and get people doing that. When you fund that activity by those money that you have taken from yourself because you allocate it to yourself and fund these activities, your people in your district no longer need to come to you when their child is sick with headache and they need something from you for intervention. Because why? They will now be confident in going to the government run facility to seek medical attention, knowing fully well that that facility is up to date because their tax dollars is being allocated correctly. So they don't need to come to you for for intervention. So your salary now that you earn would only be used for your own purposes and not looking after community needs, because every time they come to you to do something, you are confident in your expansion of the money that you can clearly say, no, 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 I don't have money to give you to go to hospital, but I can direct you, go to the John F. K. Medical Facility. You will have the treatment you need. Go to the Emirates Huts, the Emirates Hospital. Go to the 14 Military Barrack Hospital. Go to any government-run hospitals and seek medical treatment, because as your representative, I have advocated and put money into there, sufficient money for you to get treatment. And yet, let that person go to the hospital and do not receive the treatment that they require after you have allocated this much money. And let them come back to you and say, oh, Honorable, we went to the hospital today and the doctors threw out because they say they got no medicine. Now you have the power to now call the government, the executive branch of government, now headed by the president and his minister, call them to your house. That is the power you got. Call them to come and explain to you why you allocated so much money that they themselves said it was good enough money to run the hospital to meet the needs of the people, why you have done that, and you are receiving report from your constituency that this is not true. When that government minister, executive branch of government minister, is unable to provide sufficient proof and evidence to convince you why that has not happened, the power you exercise along with all of your colleagues is to cast a vote of no confidence in that minister, health minister, for example, as in the example that I'm describing. And when you does that, what you implying to the executive branch of government on behalf of the 10,000 people you represent is that my 10,000 people that I represent, do not agree to work with this person that you appointed as minister. All of you are making that statement jointly. The president have no other option but to fire that person or ask that person to resign, because your legitimacy to serve the people is in the hands of the people, which comes through their direct representation to you representatives. That's the power you got. Now it doesn't stop there. When the president now has to reappoint another person to serve in that capacity as minister of health, that person needs to go to your other brothers, which we will call the House of Senate, to be confirmed. Now, how they work on that is now you 73 of you representative will file a report to your other colleagues in the House of Senate to say, look, the previous Minister of Health, we allocated money. The reason why you are now in the process of confirming another Minister of Health is here are the reason. They are compiling that report to pass over to the House of Senate who does confirmation. When they receive that report, it gave the House of Senate the opportunity now to vet this person with data that is drawn from previous experience. What that then leads to is us getting the best person to head those departments, so that whenever an intervention is made and money is allocated for those sectors, the people can have and see the direct effect and impact of those money. Now, when the people start to feel the direct impact of their resources through the allocation of money by their senators or by their representatives and senator, they no longer come to you begging you for help. They will not have to. But because you allocate this money to yourself and invest little or nothing into these systems that's supposed to cater to the majority of the people, that's why they come running to your door. And out of fear, you continue to steal, allocate more money to yourselves, sign dodgy contracts, get into dodgy agreements so that you can have extra money to cater to some of these problems which you could solve on the national scale. So I want to beg of you, please, I'm pleading with you. You hold the key to our self improvement and development by the actions you take. Please, I'm begging with you, honorables. Where is the conscience? How do you think it is fair that some of you have your children living in other country? You have to take care of them in other society. How do you think it's fair that these things are happening, but the people who you claim to represent struggle on a daily basis? Let me give you another example. Honorables, I beg of you, please change the way you think when it comes to the allocations of our national wealth, our national resources. Please rethink. It is not fair that 73 of you should live in luxury. It's not fair. Look, let me give you an example. You allocate yourself money to buy a $45,000 car on the 3 years deal because you want to ride fancy car, you want to ride big car. In fact, it's silly of me to think when I see some of the cars some of you drive around and boasting that it costs you 65,000 US dollars. It costs you this. But yet the road that you drive on is so stumpy, there's potholes everywhere, but you fail to fund government road project through the budget adequately. Because you see, when you put more money in allocation of the budget for building of sustainable and standardized road, the other branch of government that is responsible to implement that particular project have no reason to produce substandard road because they have the money to do it. When they come to you and say, we've gone and done an assessment and it's going to cost us $3 million to build a 2 kilometer road, and this is the guarantee these engineers is giving to us that this road will be, if we pay $3 million, you're going to have best quality, you're going to have at least 25-year guarantee that nothing will happen on this road. You have the warranty that if something happen drastically happen on these roads in the 25 years period, that you can count on us to come and do repair work. They said that to you. This is what will give us the best quality road, that when you drive your cars on it, your car shock absorber will not be broken every 2 minutes, your tire will not be punched out. You will drive smoothly from point A to point B, but it will require you $3 million. In the budget that you allocate for that, you allocate 600,000. So what the government do, because they need road, they take 600,000, which cannot meet their budgetary need for quality. The greater the road and cause more havoc because that's what they have. And how can you question it? Because by the time you call the executive branch of government to ask them why you didn't build the road, you know that they will expose you by telling you, but we told you what we needed to build a quality road. You choose to give us this. So you don't expect us to give you quality road with this. Do you know that that will expose you? So you don't do anything. So to compensate for that, you buy yourself big cars to ride on the bumpy roads, but yet you call yourself honorable because you created a system where the people had to beg you for everything. When you now ascend into that authority and you start getting afraid of them, you build yourself big fences and gate so that the people can no longer walk to you directly anymore. They need to come and knock at the gate because you are withholding something from them for yourself and your family. And because of that, they are rushing to you for intervention because that's what you call it. Why it is easy to solve that problem by putting more money into the budget for social services. For social services. For social services. Do you think if you invest more money in skills development and government fund that program to its entirety, where young people are able to develop skill to become entrepreneur, and you create a system where government are prepared to partner with these young people who have developed the skill for entrepreneurship, they are prepared to partner with them through funding. You create an opportunity where these people will work with government, require the necessary funding, and get into entrepreneurship. Through that process, they create job opportunity for others. That's how we build our local economy, by you government funding activities to create innovation and creativeness within our society. And when you do that, you have more young people who will be engaged into income earning opportunity. They no longer need to beg you. But because you have not created that avenue, today you have college graduate, university students who have gone and spent 4 years, some of them 6, 7 years at a university just to acquire a degree, but yet they got no skill because you have created no opportunity. So these college graduate and university graduate, all they do is to go on and speak loudly. And some of them, when they are lucky, they come in your inner cycle. You give them some petty jobs. You make them your battle cry agent. They sing loud noise to you. When you going somewhere, they are your get to go people. They live at a minimum skill only because you chose not to fund activities to develop them. To develop them. Imagine how it will work in a system where government put aside money to promote creativity among its people. When you find one Liberian who have developed a skill in production of, for example, production of water. Let's just say, for example, production of water. Government quickly partner with that person and say, look, this is a brilliant idea you have done. And we want to expand this. We want to partner with you. We're going to give you, what can we partner with you with to make this business expand? If it is only in Monrovia, to expand it to other counties, what can we do? You provide the resources. Then these people buy more machines, set up more shops and something. When those shops and factories are set up in different counties to run the same water production, those shops will need people to run it. And those people will have to be employed by this person through government initiative. So the 5 or 6 person that will be employed, they will be busy creating wealth for themselves, and they no longer need to beg you for assistance. When their child is sick, they will have money to send them to hospital, government hospital that is equally functional and working. So the responsibility is on you to change it. And how you change it is by doing the right thing. And the right thing to do is to put the money into services that would directly impact the people's life for the good. That is the right thing to do. What that would do for you, it would set you apart from other people. You see, today it's very unfortunate that if you interview 5 out of 10 Liberians, the 5 out of 10 Liberians, if you talk to, want to become a politician, because they have come to the understanding that the only way to live a prosperous life in Liberia is through politics. You need to get into politics because that's where the wealth of the country sits. That's where everything sits. So if you don't get there, even to the point where you find people who are struggling to run businesses will prefer to leave their businesses and get into politics because they want to protect their businesses. And they have now come to the realization that the only way they can do that is by ascending into that position where the national resources is divided. You have made that attractive by your actions. If you create an opportunity for young people to see the future in themselves. They will chase that. But today, you have created an opportunity where majority of our young men, they are hopeless. You find a man who is in his 40s still talking about, the future. I'm looking to the future. He currently living in his future, but he thinks there's a future still ahead. Why? Because he doesn't accept that this is the condition for which he should dwell in. So he hopes that something will change. And sadly, it can only change by the people who represent us, who sit there at that table to divide the resources of our country, who sit down at that table to discuss policy and plans, how they can implement a system that will improve the lives of our people. And when we mean our people, we mean the very people who they are representing. That's what we're talking about. Imagine you investing in education. Imagine you investing in education. Today, you have university, a university that when you see some of the classes, the environment that some of these students are subjected to learning, you wonder whether it's an environment to learn in the first place, whether you can ever learn something from that environment. And you wonder why you have so many graduates out there. When you hear some of them speaking, I think I can try, because the environment is not conducive enough to learn. The people who are teaching them is not adequately enough to teach them. So what do you expect them to learn? Where are your science laboratory that young people are there designing mobile phones, designing touchlight, choose science and technology? Where is it? Nothing. Where is the science lab that young people, brilliant young people, are able to go and start thinking about the use of artificial intelligence? Where is it? Nothing. Agriculture. Agriculture is a science. Where is the science laboratory that young people are able to devote the time to study agriculture so that we can do much more larger scales commercial farming, to be able to be a nation of production and exploitation? Where is it? Nothing. Those things are not going to happen under the blue moon. No, it starts with you, honorables. How you plan and allocate money for the executive branch to use. You see, for so long, as Liberians, we have been blinded to think that the country can accelerate its progress through the president. Unfortunately, the president is just one portion of that. I believe the country can accelerate its progress and development by the decisions and actions of our representatives. They are the direct representation of us. Listen to this. Why do you think the Constitution said the power is inherent in the people? So, Mr. Representative, you are the people. So that power rests with you. Start doing it now. Think about this. Where is it? Where is it? You ask the executive is asking people, for example, to register their motor vehicles. The executive put in a system that all vehicles must be registered to 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 runs on the roads of Liberia. They must have two number plates, both front and back. But yet, you honorables, some of you refuse to register your personal vehicle. In fact, some of you go to the extent of using your official number plates issued to you that both number plates should be on your vehicle front and back. Some of you, because you have refused to register your personal vehicle, you've gone to the extent of removing one of your government issued vehicle number plate and put it on your personal vehicle to avoid paying registration taxes, to avoid that. But yet, you want the ordinary citizen who do not enjoy the benefits and other things you enjoy to register their motor vehicle. Can't you see how this is corrupt? How can you go to bed and sleep with these action demonstrated by you? And so, when you does that, the government through the Ministry of Justice cannot arrest or impound your vehicle because you got Representative 55 on it. They cannot, because by the time they arrest, impound your vehicle, the first thing you are going to tell them, you're going to summon them, how dare you touch the Matthew. So they harass the poor citizen, taxi driver, other private citizen. By the time they find these people, vehicle is not registered, they impound the vehicle, they fine them, but you go unpunished. Imagine if every one of you decided to do the right thing. Your government issue vehicle is government issue vehicle paid by the people. So they're not asking you to pay back to them from that. So it is registered, it's everything. The number plate is issued to you without cost. But your personal vehicle that you bought, you need to register it just as any ordinary citizen. Demonstrate that. Imagine if all of you register your personal your personal vehicle, and have the number plate attached to it both ways, how it should be. Imagine if all of you does that. How good would that be? To the point where when you do it, and somebody from your community does not do it, and they are arrested by the government authority responsible to enforce that, when they come to you as a representative, you will say, well, look, if I can put registration on my vehicle, so you should. And you have the moral ground to argue that. But how can you argue it when you yourself is doing the wrong thing? So can we just start by doing some of the right thing, morally right? At least, because I can't say legally right, because you write the laws. So you can always turn something that is wrong legal, and you claim that it is legal. But let me speak to your conscience. How? How do you sleep at night knowing that these things are happening? You have counties that are represented by people, some of them the brightest you can think of. But they sit and share the cake, the national cake, and good portion of it goes to them. A very small portion of it goes to the majority. The system is unfair. The system is wrong. You see, your actions as representatives, and I'm speaking to you particularly, how do you play a role? But I'm limiting this one to the representatives. Your actions, the actions of the 73 of you is causing some Liberian who are living in the diaspora not to even want to consider to come back home because of the actions of some of you, the actions of the 73 of you. And you may be wondering, why do I even say that? Here's why I say it. A man who had lived in the United States or in Australia, where I find myself, who have experienced what government system works look like, who, when he falls down there, the ring an ambulance, that ambulance is sure to come and cater to his need and take him to the hospital where he will receive treatment. He live in a system where he see things work, but you want him to return to a system and want him to stay in the system after enjoying what things should look like. You want him to come back to stay in the system that you have created where nothing works. Some of us may not want to take that chance. Why others will want to take the chance? Because I believe it is the best thing to do to go back and fight them. Not fight them in the face of hands, but fight them through educating the people to change their mind when it comes to electing these people. That's the fight that some of us believe that needs to happen. When that fight occurred in the mind of the people who vote for some of you, the next time you go to them to vote, to ask for their vote, the questions that they will be asking you will be questions that will embarrass you. That is the fight that I believe some of us who are live in developed country need to be engaged into, because that fight will save the system of some of you. Because how I will save the system is when you go back to ask these people for their vote, they will turn around and tell you, what is your vision for our community? What is your passion of leadership? Not just give me back a rent and I'll vote for you. They will question you on what is your policy, or what are your policy that you have, or your plans and vision that you have, not for me that is asking you, but for the generation after me. And I bet you will not have answer to that, because you're not interested in the generation. You're interested in the now. And that's why you're getting embarrassed. And those who have the answer to that question are the ones that will be elected. So elections result will reflect the true meaning of leadership, and not who has the deepest pocket to buy few bags of rice, few clothes. No, that is the fight that we, from the desperate, from the outside, need to engage into. So, you honorables, I plead with you, please, please look into your heart and think about the decisions that you are making that is keeping our people poor, unhealthy, that is turning most of our young girls into prostitutions, that is turning our young and brightest mind into motorcyclists, because they have nothing to do, because you have failed to create the system and opportunity for these young men to explore in their mind, to explore their environment, to explore the brilliance of their brain that God has given to them. The system that you have consistently carried on deprive other young Liberians who living in other developed countries to not be able to help, even when they want to help, because you see them as a threat to the change that you do not want to see. Please remember, before you, there was someone, and after you, there will be someone. But the great man once said, you are not a successful leader until your successor succeed. Remember, before today you are a representative, there was somebody who occupied that seat of yours. Remember, and you will step out of there. But what would society remember you for? What would society think about you? Oh, I forgot. Because many of you, by the time you are no longer in government position and power of authority, you flee the country to go live somewhere else where you believe that it's better for you to live. And you leave the people with their mess. That's what you do. Why? You imagine for a second, honorable, that instead of you traveling to Ghana, other countries to seek medical help because you have the ability to do so, go to our hospitals in Liberia and see what the people experience when they go to hospital when they're sick. Maybe that will help your conscience. But no, you don't do that. By the time you feel sick a little bit, you jump on a plane. You go to another civilization that has set up a system to embrace you, showing to them that you are incapable of improving your own life. So, my dear senators and my dear representatives, I want to plead with you, please. I take God to beg of you, please do the right thing. Your people are perishing because of the decisions that you are taking. You know, it is one said as I close, attractive salary, improve productivity. I believe that. So, our senators, attractive salary, improve productivity. It helps by other measures reduce the act of corruptions. So, when you sit down at that table of dividing the country wealth in terms of the budget yearing, please divide the wealth in a way that the people you represent can see the direct representation of them through your actions. Please, that's all I ask of you. When a company is coming to carry on concession contract and you are signing a concession deal, let the people see their representation through the action of the company that is coming, through development. That is why they voted you. Please, this is my plea with you. The next time I'm talking, I'll be talking to our senators because they also had their own problems as well. But to the 73 of you from each district in Maserati, in Bon County, in Lofa County, in Magibi County, in Grand Bassa County, Grand Gillel County, Sano County, Grand Crew County, Bapulu County, Bombing County, Magibi County, Maryland County, from all over the world, all over the country, their representatives. 73 of you, I plead with you. Please let your people see your intervention through the allocation of wealth for government run institution, not your intervention by your personal pocket. No. Do not allocate money to yourself in the budget for district development fund for which you will operate or you will use. Let it be seen in the project that government will carry out in your different community. Imagine for a second that you speak to your constituents and you're like, look, the closest government hospital in our district is about 25 miles away from where we live. And as a result, while it is true that government hospital has everything we need, but it's a little bit hard for us to get there. Let the people tell you that. And then you use that to advocate for a government constructed hospital in their district. Not you doing it. That advocate is channeled through your voice at the division table of the wealth. Do that. When government build the hospital in that district, the people see their voices heard through your advocacy and the action is seen. Not you trying to build a clinic in your name. That is the best representation you can ever do. And hold yourself accountable to the people. Remember that before you, there was someone, and there will be someone after you. Good night. Thank you.